set by Bob Hanna. And notice Damon Bradshaw also had 19 victories on a Yamaha. Do you expect the contenders here tonight to step it up?
Well, normally I would say I expected that, but I feel it tonight. There's something about it. After watching the practice sessions and then thinking about what's happened in the past couple of rounds, Carmichael has proven he has consistency, but then that bad finish last week with a crash in the first corner, I think he's going to come in here with a little bit more fire. I know Villeman has to come in here with more fire if he plans on winning this championship. So, yeah, I think these guys are going to step it up.
And with the six-time champion is our Davey Coombs.
Well, right here he is, Jeremy McGrath. Jeremy, we're almost the halfway point of the season. What kind of grade would you give yourself at this point?
Well, most of the races I'd give myself an A, but I think considering I let myself slide one away in Phoenix, I would give myself probably B+.
What about tonight here at Georgia Dome? We've got some red Georgia clay. The track looks really tricky.
Yeah, the track is going to be tough because it's going to be hard to do 20 hard laps in the same line. The clay here is really awesome and tacky dirt, but it changes so much throughout a race that it's going to take a smart, patient rider tonight, I think.
We'll look forward to seeing if you can make it 4 in a row.
All right, I hope so. Thanks. I'd like to let these guys think about it on the week off.
We've got a track of red Georgia clay, David Bailey. Ryan Clark and Paul Curry had impressive qualifying rounds, as did Robbie Skaggs. Michael Brandis, once a winner this year in the opening round of 125 East action. Jason Thomas also in there, and a local from Kennesaw, Georgia, is Matt Shue. Brandon Jessamine gets fast starts. We're almost set for our main event from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. The 125s are revving it up, ready to go. The 30-second board has been up for some time. When it goes sideways, the excitement will reign. They're revving it up now. It's gone sideways. The 125 main event is off and running. That's Ernesto Fonseca, our Yahoo Sports Whole Shot Award winner. 500 additional bucks goes to number 1, Ernesto Fonseca. The points leader, Brock Sellards, right behind him with Roncada in third. Good position for Nick Way, number 23 and 4th. The battle is up front with Fonseca and Brock Sellards. Neither up-front ladders have won yet. Oh, what a nice pass. Number 26, Roncada, last week's winner. He wants 2 in a row.
He means business. And Art, as you know, we were watching practice this afternoon, and I said, I think Roncada's on a roll. He's got the confidence, all the strength, and then he crashed in this loop section right here. I thought he may have hurt his wrist, but the way he came out and rode in that heat race, he had the fastest lap time of anybody in the 125s up to this point. He's going to get a chance to prove it right now.
Pastrana went down and is in 11th place right now. Let's take a look at it now on the left side of your screen.
Well, he's just jumping over to the edge, trying to work his way through traffic. He was actually in about 11th place when that happened. He was about ready to save it until that rider clipped his front wheel and he went down.
Qualifying heat, David, was able to hold off the pressure well.
Now he's pretty composed.
Fonseca. And look at that, Roncada squeezes through on the inside. Back comes Fonseca to retake the lead. Oh, my goodness.
And he's just all business. I think if you went down the starting line and took everyone's pulse, they'd all be somewhere up around 180. And if you took Fonseca, it's probably about 70. The guy just doesn't really get that excited, and it really works for him in situations like this.
At Indianapolis, remember when Roncada tried to pass Fonseca. Fonseca was slipping, put his foot out, and got it caught. And Fonseca goes down. Roncada takes the easy route right now. What a break for Roncada. It was not unusual to see him go right from the qualifying round into the main event against other 250 riders. Here's the battle for 4th. Michael Brandis, number 27, goes flying. Bouncing off the bike was Fonseca.
Just got out of the way in time for, you can see the dirt all over his shoulder for Brandon Jessamine coming through. Scared both those guys.
Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia, where Stephane Roncada is looking to break the parade of 7 different 125 riders winning in 7 rounds here in the year 2000. This would be his 2nd consecutive win if he can hold on, David Bailey.
When you watch him, I mean, look at the timing. Puts the bike right where he wants to put it. And right now, he's in a little bit of a cruise mode. Now he's just matching the lap times of everyone else, so how the heck are they going to catch up?
Roncada just get the white flag. He is 1 lap away from his 2nd consecutive victory and certainly has the momentum in the 125 East.
And you know what's happened is you're watching Way and Fonseca battle each other a little bit. They've closed the gap on Sellards. Sellards is not that far ahead of Way right there. You see him go by.
Yep. Sellards got a battle on his hands.
Now you get comfortable in the last couple of laps. You look over your shoulder, you don't see anybody, you figure, I can cruise a little bit. But he decided to cruise right about the time that Fonseca pushed Way up there. He's enjoying himself this final lap.
He's having fun.
Tyler Evans about ready to get lapped. I have to feel something must have happened to him because he won his heat race and has been looking sharp lately.
Wisely gets out of the way for the leader. As the checkers, he can see it. Roncada crosses up and takes the checkered flag. Taking a look at the Honda 250 lineup. Jeremy McGrath, the 6-time champion. LaRocco won here in '95. Carmichael got his first 125 win here in Atlanta, Georgia. David Villeman, the only other winner on the season. Kevin Windham, Damon Huffman on the podium last week. Tim Ferry, Sebastian Tortelli, 2nd last week. Outstanding semi-winners. Isaiah Johnson, Michael Craig, John Dowd, Sebastian Waugh, Lewis, McCormick, Nelson, Voss, Schnell, Neese, Ward, and Grayson Goodman making it to the main event. Oh, the suspense is right now starting to build on the parade lap. Take a look at 934, David.
Well, check out his handlebars. This is a new trend as some of these guys are starting. Carmichael, LaRocco, Villeman, they all run their handlebars so high, the ends are actually turned up. He's got both his front brake and clutch lever about level. If you look at Mike LaRocco's bike, he's got his clutch lever. Looks like he crashed and bent the thing. They didn't have time to put it back down. It's getting higher and higher. Out in the West, you see Shea Bentley on the 125. He's doing the same thing. And I wonder about it. Obviously, he's comfortable with it, but I wonder if that doesn't mess him up a little bit on the start, because when you're leaned over the front end to keep the weight on the front wheel and you got your elbows up, how can you reach that thing being up so high?
Many of the riders want us to send our best wishes along to Jimmy Button and in his recuperating effort. He walked 450 feet with his walker yesterday. And, boy, what encouraging signs we see from Jimmy Button there in Scottsdale, Arizona. The 30-second board is up. Guys are making sure that their goggles are clear, as this red Georgia clay can pepper you like bullets.
And think about this. Larry Ward has had about 10 minutes to rest, get the bike ready after that last chance qualifier. I guarantee you he's warmed up and knows the track better than anyone else. Think about the guys like Jeremy that qualified right out of the heat. They haven't seen this track in a while.
Who will get the Yahoo Sports whole shot of 1,000 extra sideways? They're revving. They're off. Damon Huffman, who got on the podium in 3rd place last week, got the whole shot. But right there is Jeremy McGrath and Ricky Carmichael. McGrath to the inside. Huffman doesn't want to give it up. Carmichael to the inside to try to get into 2nd. Does.
Well, this is set up great. Right behind these 3 guys, you got Villeman right there doubling into the corner. Windham also a pretty decent start. He's got him in sight.
He's in 6th. Can they stay with Jeremy as the thousands of flashbulbs pop here in the Georgia Dome?
I think Carmichael had the speed to do it last week, but he crashed in the first corner and didn't get a chance to prove it. Now he will. I think they shipped the dirt for this track from Carmichael's house. It's so similar to what he rides on.
Jeremy McGrath, Ricky Carmichael. And now David Villeman in 3rd, with Huffman slipping back to 4th.
Villeman coming up a little short on that triple where he crashed in the heat race, but his long body soaked it up a little bit better that time.
What are we seeing in Jeremy McGrath now? His strategy usually has been bust it as best you can and get away.
He will. He's focused so much on the beginning of this race. Get into the lead if you don't get the start. If you get the start, disappear. Don't even let anyone study anything that you're doing. and ruin their confidence. If you're riding your best and a guy's pulling away from you, you start looking back going, all right, well, let me just make sure I keep these guys off me. Forget catching that guy.
Let's go down to trackside, Davey Combs.
Hey, take a look at this. This is Mike Craig's bike, a DNF right before the end of the first lap. You're trying to figure out what happened to Kevin Windham. Well, Craig wrecked right in front of him, and Windham ran into the back of him. Craig's out of the race. Windham dead last.
Too bad for both guys. That was obviously a pretty tremendous impact. It takes so much strength. I wish I had some sort of figure to give you some telemetry on what it takes to break those handlebars, but it's not easy. A little bit of smoothness into his style that started off a little bit like Pastrana's. Was just, people were going, boy, if he could just tone it down a little bit. Well, he's done that, but he's still been able to keep all that speed, that explosiveness. That was a great save.
But it allowed Villeman to come up and take second place. David Villeman in second place with the Yamahas 1 and 2.
That seemed to rattle Ricky a little bit, and he better get it back together pretty quick, because number 20, Huffman, is breathing down his neck.
Will the hose shooters, Huffman, get onto the podium for the second straight week? The answer is coming up.
Now, Carmichael was the one putting the heat on him. Well, not a lot of heat, but it was just there enough to bother him until this. Started into the whoops, his feet came off the pegs. Looked like that was the first problem from the seat hitting him in the butt. Great save, and the only way you can save that is a grip on the bike with your knees so you can land back on the pegs, and you use that clutch, and every time your foot gets back to that rear brake, step on it a little bit and try to slow down. What a great recovery right there. I think in a couple of years ago, or even last year on the 250, he'd have gone down.
Yeah.
That would have been a crash.
But Ricky Carmichael learning on that 250 as Jeremy McGrath. There's Damon Huffman just getting back up as he slid out. He was in fourth position at the time.
That was right before the whoops, and both Tortelli and Mike LaRocco went around. It
so
looks
it'll
like
put him in sixth.
Huffman was pointing at something.
So in recapping, it's Jeremy McGrath, David Villeman, Ricky Carmichael, Mike LaRocco, Sebastian Tortelli, and then Damon Huffman. Dowd has moved up to seventh as we check out our leader.
He's really skilled at being able to figure out where the next best line is going to develop and find it before everybody else.
Less than 5 laps to go for Jeremy McGrath, who's gunning for his 6th victory. It would be win number 65 on his career. About an 8.1 second lead on David Villeman, a 17.3 second lead on Ricky Carmichael. We're back in the Georgia Dome, round 8 of EA Sports Supercross. Our leader, who else? Jeremy McGrath. He's on his way to just leading every lap for the last 4 races. Mike LaRocco's gone from 12th to 4th. Windham has gone from last to 6th place behind him. But no challenge to our leader as we take a look at a battle back in the pack. John Dowd, Damon Huffman, number 20. Dowd and Larry Ward.
Huffman was looking good. He got the start he needed to get. He was in contention with those guys, could see what they're doing. He got into their groove, and when he fell, he just kind of let some of the air out, and then now he's been getting pressure. Windham just passed him a lap ago. Move up another spot. A great ride for Kevin, who was last. He's all the way back up to 6th now. This is the battle developing behind him. Guys like Dowd, Larry Ward with all that experience. You really can't relax if you're Damon Huffman.
Well, it's good to see Damon Huffman with an aggressive riding style.
He's been picking it up little by little. It's hard, you know. If something happens in your career, an injury or whatever, especially the one he had, it takes everything out of you. You got to build it all back up.
White flag for Jeremy McGrath. 1 lap away from 80 straight laps leading 250 Supercross.
That's domination. And he said he'd like to let these guys think about that a little bit over the week break they get.
Jeremy's going to use that time, I think, to get back into his conditioning program after the flu bug hit him pretty hard.
He wants to get ready for the motocross-like track at Daytona, which he says a win there was one of his big thrills. The smiley face from Randy Lawrence as McGrath goes by the mechanics area.
I bet that made Jeremy smile.
Yeah.
It has to. You know, he doesn't have to worry about Billerman breathing down his neck right here. He can look at those things and soak it up.
McGrath, the turn. The checkers are waiting for him. Jeremy McGrath becomes the winningest rider in Supercross Yamaha history. His 21st victory on a Yamaha. And there's 9:34. David Billerman, the only other rider this year to score a victory that comes in over at second place.